Cool. What's going on, Kevin, man? Thanks so much for taking the time out of your day for this, man. How's business been?
Oh man, it's been a blessing, you know. Just thankful for the all the learning and all the learning experiences.
Nice. So tell me when did you get started in real estate, and then how did you get started in real estate?
I've actually only been doing it for about 20 months. April of 2019.
Okay, so yeah, not that long. So almost 2 years now.
Almost, yeah. No,
Almost
it's
2 years. And then what part of the country are you in again?
I'm in Florida.
Florida. Right now. How's the real estate going on out in Florida right now?
Some people would say saturated, I'd say abundant.
That's a good mindset. I like that. Yep, yep. I know it seems like right now everybody is shifting, moving locations, right? They're leaving one state and piling into another state.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. No, but I mean, if there's a house, there's a deal.
Nice. So then when you first got started in real estate, did you start as a realtor, get into wholesaling? How did you kind of get started?
Yeah, no, actually, I started with as an acquisition agent. I never was in real estate. It was always one of those things in the back of my mind that I wanted to get into. But I found an Indeed application, and I started as an acquisition agent.
Right on. So really, indeed, started your real estate career.
Yeah, maybe I should be on one of the commercials.
You should definitely probably reach out to Indeed. That's pretty awesome how a simple job post has really kind of like skyrocketed your new career in real estate.
Yeah, my whole life, honestly, it all changed since then.
That's awesome. So when you first started doing acquisitions, did you start out with SMS marketing right away, or were you doing other types? What kind of shifted you into text message marketing?
Yeah, no, actually, SMS I think is the bread and butter. That has really been, the main source, and it's interesting because Joe, the guy that hired me as an acquisition agent, he was helping Adam develop the beta for Smart Contact. So, I think Adam used to be in this building, and I think that's how they met on the elevator.
Okay.
And he was like, "Oh, I'm a real estate investor," and Adam, he was a real estate investor at that point, also trying to develop his software. Um, and it just went from there. We were, I love the system from the moment that first saw um, Smart Contact, and we had other options, obviously, but Smart Contact really stuck out to me.
Nice. Well, glad to hear it, man. Glad that you've enjoyed the software. So, what have been like, share with us, like, what have been some of the results when using text message marketing?
Oh man, it's unreal. I think what I really like is it's like going shopping. Like you go into a grocery store and you know exactly what you want and you know what you don't want. And so whenever you do text blasts, you kind of already feed off or, sort out who is interested and who is not just from the text blast. And, that's something that I don't think any other source can really do, besides SMS.
Are you currently, or have you, when you first started, or still kind of using other forms of marketing?
I think everybody always has the same idea of let's, do SMS and do direct mail and do a little bit of everything, right? But I think SMS is definitely the bread and butter of what I do and what everyone else does, or that I know of, anyways. That's been successful.
Nice. So since you're full-time acquisitions, is that correct?
Yeah, no, actually, whenever um, I guess I'll go ahead and get into the crazy deal that we were able to get from the Smarter Contact. So I took a break from working as a full time acquisition agent, like right before COVID started,
Okay.
and that's whenever I was like, damn, I want to still be in real estate. Obviously, it's like what makes you money. It's not easy, but it's always everybody calls it a numbers game. But so
Hmm.
what I did was I wanted a list that was high quality. So I remember trying to do some reverse wholesaling. I had a buyer that told me, hey, I'm looking for this particular area, entry level homes. This is my all in cost. So, and it was a pretty, general a list that he wanted pulled. He actually didn't end up buying the property that got in the contract, but I didn't have a lot of money. I think my all-in cost was like right under $500. That's with the Smart Contact membership, with
Mhm.
paying list source their premium, and with the skip tracing from the Smart Contact that had just implemented. I think it was back in June, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep. Mhm.
So yeah, we so I did that. It was only 700 leads. I got one high quality lead. Well, actually, I got two. There was a guy that wanted to sell me a mobile home for like $2,500. I didn't move forward with that one. Unfortunately, I went in and I saw it. The stars didn't just line up for me
Okay.
on that one, and I was bummed out. I was like, damn, But I kept an abundant mindset, and literally a couple of days went by, and this guy calls me, leaves me a voicemail, and he's like, "Hey, you texted my phone. I got a house that I'm interested in selling." Um, and I ended up locking it up for as a wholesale deal, and it was just a lot of, it was a learning experience. But
Nice.
the crazy thing was that out of 700 leads, like I got one really strong lead, and that's really all you need.
Mhm.
Everybody's always saying you're one deal away, and
Yep.
it's true. You just one deal away, and I'm glad that the Smarter Contact, I used their skip tracing, and it was super high quality, and it was just the perfect timing.
Nice, dude. That is awesome to hear. So, kind of take me through. You kind of been doing a lot of acquisitions, obviously for someone else, and kind of for yourself. It sounds like as well too. How many texts do you kind of send? Let's say on average a month, if you can think of a number.
Um, Text. I honestly don't send a lot. I think, I, quality is more important than volume.
Mm,
And I do see that some people that have scaled their business, they'll send out a lot. But I think that if you have the right niche, where you can stack a bunch of different criteria on top of one another, you can definitely be successful with, I don't know, 1,000 a week. I think you can definitely get a couple of deals a month, um, with the right list source and with the right criteria.
nice. Well, I'm glad to hear that. Yeah, because everybody has their kind of different styles. A lot of people like to go heavy, but some people like to kind of go super deep and
Yeah.
niche with the list. And I think if you have a good list and one you're good at acquisitions and you know how to have a good conversation, you can get some good deals just from a small quantity. So then let's say, okay, um, you know, what kind of has motivated you? You've only been it for 20 months, only a couple of years. What has really motivated you when you first started up until now to literally wake up and continue that grind? Even if I'm sure there's been some down weeks where there has been most action, but then some weeks with a ton of action.
Yeah, no, it's crazy. One week you can lock up 10 deals, and you might go a couple of weeks without doing anything, just a bunch of follow up. But I think what really motivates me to continue through it all is just the dynamic of it. It's not boring. If I try to explain to somebody what I do to day, I'm just making phone calls. That sounds boring. But if you get on the phone and you talk to these people and you really develop that conversation with them, where it's like, friends that have, never spoken before, and they start telling you about their life and their problems. And usually all of the deals that I close, I usually talk to them like over an hour. And I think it's uh really rewarding when they tell you, like, I've never told anybody all of this, and I don't know why I'm telling you that now, or like why I'm telling you all of this. So that's really rewarding to me. I think, because everybody has a story, so having the opportunity to have or listen to different stories, day to day. I probably talk to about 10 people a day that actually tell me a good story, and
It's
how I
awesome.
can help them. So, that's really what gets me out of bed. And if I can solve their problem, that's it.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's called skill, man. Being able to have long conversations, I feel like a lot of people don't like being, obviously no one really likes sitting on the phone, especially people don't like having long conversations, especially in today's society. We're very fast paced. We
Yeah.
like quick results, quick conversations. But when it comes to real estate, being able to quickly break down, that barrier they put between, you and them, to be able to break down that barrier, earn their trust just through a phone conversation, and be able to have a good personal, long conversation, really builds that trust and makes them trust you more. And you're going to get closer to that deal and being able to help them as well too, in the long run. But what has been, since you've only been in it too long, let's say, what has been maybe the number one learning lesson that you've had so far in 2 years being in real estate?
Um, the biggest learning lessons or lesson, I'm
It
trying to
can be
think.
lessons too. If you can give me top three, top two, it doesn't matter.
Well, I think the first one is patience, because if you come into this industry and you think like you're gonna make, everybody sees what everybody else is doing on social media. You have like the rock stars, right? And I
Yeah.
believe they definitely deserve the respect, especially those that have been in it for many years, decades. And everybody thinks, in the back of their head, I don't know why, but like, and I was bad for it too. Like, hey, I'm gonna make six figures this year just because I'm in the environment. That really affects the conversations you have with sellers, because then you're not as intimate, then you're not as caring or sympathetic. So I guess that goes into the second learning lesson, which is having sympathy with these people that you're speaking to, and really getting to know them, and having those open-ended questions. It just really, really changes up the whole dynamic of what you're trying to get across, because um, I know that I'm going to get a deal if the whole time we haven't talked about the house. We've talked about everything
Yep.
else, and they're like, "Damn, you called me about the house, and I ended up telling you what I had for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and why I changed my diet." So that really stuck out to me, this last year, right? And the last 20 months, because everybody says it's a numbers game, and that's sort of true. It's a little bit of both, right? Numbers and the type of conversation you're having with the client. And that, I mean, I think that's it: patience and
Hmm.
sympathy.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's so awesome. Thanks for sharing, man. What would you say? What is like so far? What do you think is the number one skill set that every investor should have in their toolbox?
I think communication is really important. Going along or piggybacking on sympathy. Um, you have to have the ability to know how to speak to these people, to where you're not just going off the script and you're not just hitting them with all these object or rebuttals to their objections. It's deeper than that. And that why I mentioned that it's not all just about numbers. It's also about your the way you communicate, is because if you oh I just noticed you have the Tools of Titan book behind you. That's a really good book.
Yep.
um, but if you don't know how to get these people to open up to you, it doesn't matter what you tell them. There's not really a secret word that you say. It's really about like your personality. If you're warm, like a warm person, luckily I was blessed, and I didn't really have to change much about my personality. So it was a little bit easier for me. But I know that there's some people that maybe English isn't um, their first language. They have that cultural context barrier,
Hmm.
and whenever you get over that, and you speak to a client just like I'm speaking to you now, and you just talk like friends. That's really the one. And I don't even know how to sum it up in one word, as
Yeah,
far as what that skill is. um but it's more, it's not even a skill. It's more of like the environment you provide for the seller over the phone.
definitely, definitely. So, what would you tell then to somebody who's, let's say, this is going to go on YouTube. They're browsing YouTube. They're maybe on Facebook. They're looking for a side hustle or a new job, or they've always thought of getting into real estate, whether it's flipping or wholesaling. what advice would you give them for starting out? Would you tell them just to go to Indeed.com and get an acquisition job, or what would you tell them?
I think to get to know yourself. I don't know who the quote is by, but it's getting to know you. Getting to know thyself is the key to all knowledge. Because um, if you don't know exactly what your strengths are, or if you don't even know how to take a compliment, sometimes people joke around and they'll say, "Oh, I want to be like you. Oh, one day when I grow up," or something like that. And they're like, "Nah, you don't want to be like." That's a compliment. You have to learn how to take compliments, and you have to um, know how to be sympathetic, not only to others but to yourself. That's really the journey, as far as where to go and what to do. I mean, as far as real estate goes, I would just there's so many groups on Facebook. There's so much information on YouTube. We live in the information age.
Yep.
But if we really want to get results and you want to do this, um, I wouldn't say fairly quickly, but if you have the patience to learn and get ahead, I think even joining the Smarter Contact group on Facebook um, is motivational enough, and there's knowledge up there. There's scripts and there's ways that you can analyze deals. I mean, I would start there. So if you're seeing this right now and you need to go somewhere and figure out, there's a whole community called the Smart Contact, messaging group or whatever it's called. And I'm sure that if you reach out to anybody on that group, they'd be willing to help you.
Awesome. I love to hear it. All right, so let's wrap this up. We got one last question for you. It's November 18th right now. So, what are your goals for 2021 with your job, with real estate? What are your goals for the next year?
2021. For you said real estate goes?
Yeah, real estate goals. Yeah.
Ah, man, I don't want to say anything superficial like $1 million, right? um, I don't know. I think there's no goal in 2021 that I need to set that I haven't already set for myself today. When I
Oof.
woke up.
Dang. Okay. All
So,
right.
just touch somebody's lives, impact somebody's life in a positive way. And if you keep on doing that, there's no number and that you can't that you can't manifest. Let's put it that way.
Heck yeah. I love it. I love it, man. Well, cool. Well, Kevin, thank you so much, man. I know you got tons of people you got to go touch and improve their lives and give them a solution
Yeah.
right now. But man, thank you so much for taking your time, man. And really appreciate you and appreciate the kind words you've had and for the motivation you're going to give to other people.
Yeah. Thanks. I appreciate you guys having me on.
Awesome. Thanks a lot, Kevin.
All right. Bye.